two-part. One is, how are you going to change the game this coming year? And I put out a message to my followers through my autoresponder on Aweber. So if you're not a part of my list, make sure that you head on over to lucindacross.com and sign up for my list. That is number one. That's the most important piece. Make sure you're a part of my list. I don't trust all of these technologies things, but sign on to my list so I can have access to you when I want. Okay, you're here from Montgomery. Okay, good to have you here. First timers, welcome. And the second part of this one is, how are you going to change the game in 2016 and beyond? This is something I want you to meditate on. This is something I want you to think about. This is something that I want you, when you go to sleep, when you wake up, I want this question on your mind. Anytime you get ready to do anything, you're launching, you're writing, you're speaking, how are you going to change the game with your presentation? How are you going to change the game with your new book? How are you going to change the game with your packages, with your programs, with your style, with your technique? How are you going to change the game? And playing this game, a lot of people use the chess game, similar to strategies and tactics. And so how are you going to play the game in this next season for 2016 and up level what you've already done this year and the year prior? And so this is a question that should be on your mind constantly. The next thing is that I talked about on Twitter is the one question you're not asking is the one question that's holding you back, right? The one question that you are not asking is the one question that can change your life. And you know what that question is? It's asking a question. It's asking the question, asking the main question. A lot of times we don't listen enough. We don't listen long enough to ask the right question. So the question that you're not asking is the question. And the reason why you're not asking the question that needs to be asked is because you're not listening to what is going on. You're not listening to what season you're in. You may not be listening to how you can up level, change the game, move forward, step back, halt. Sometimes we're just not listening long enough to understand that the next important thing for us to do is to ask the question. And many of you, some right now, can automatically think of who you need to ask this question to. Maybe you're not asking the right questions. I don't care. Go out there and start asking some questions. Anytime that you're in an event, and if you listen long enough to the panel, you'll hear there's no way that God is going to place you in a position for you not to get answers to your questions. That's not going to happen. It's not. Even if you decide to go someplace that you don't even need to be, or you're not supposed to be there and you just show up, there's no way that you're going to be there and you're not going to get an answer to your question. And so sometimes we're not paying attention, and so we don't even know the right questions to ask in order to get the right answer that can change our lives. So I want you to get in the habit of asking questions. And you ask questions based on what you're hearing, even if it seems or it appears that the person has answered the question for someone else, you ask it again for yourself. Anytime you're dealing, questions such as, how does this work? How did this work for you? How do you know? Where can I get more information about this? When should I start? How should I stop? What are my options? Many times we don't ask these simple questions that can move you forward. When it comes to your children, when it comes to your job, when it comes to your clients, you're not asking the right questions. And you know what happens when you don't ask questions? There's a communication problem. When there's a communication problem, then now everybody's bumping heads. And you bump heads and it begins to hurt more. And now you get a headache and you get frustrated because you didn't ask questions. You didn't ask questions in the beginning. You didn't ask questions in the middle. And you didn't ask questions at the end. And sometimes you just didn't even ask a question and you're just in go mode. Where are we going? Just how kids, you can't put a kid in a car and just decide to drive. Where are we going? Where are we going, Auntie? My niece, she's like the question person. But I respect that because I love the fact that she is aware of what's happening. When you don't ask questions, you just may not be aware. And you'll see many people, they're sitting and they're on their phones, or they're writing down, or they're chatting at an event, and it's so rude because it stops someone else from listening to what's being said so that they can ask the right question that can change their life. So I want us to get into a habit of asking questions. Asking questions. Who knows that you need to ask a question? Don't just take any answer. Who in here knows that they haven't been asking questions, and they know that they need to ask a question? Maybe even after this scope, you're going to say, you know what? Let me walk in there and ask a question. And so what does this mean? And how will this play out? Have you done this before? Is this for me? Have you worked with someone like me in my situation? Have you done hair similar to this before? How long have you been in business? Have you had any downfalls? Have you had a coach before? Have you lived in a house before? Just simple questions. Simple questions will not only help to change your life because you get answers, you get clarity, but it also helps you to establish positive feedback and build strong relationships. No questions, we begin to bump heads. I always ask my husband questions. Never get to the assumption to assume. You always ask questions. My niece, Auntie, where are we going? TT, where are we going? TT, how long is it going to take? TT, is it going to rain? TT, are we going to go to the park today? TT, are the kids home? TT, where's Uncle Bio? And she's asking a bunch because she's trying to form in her mind what's about to happen. And now it gives her a sense of clarity and safety in being with me. How can someone feel safe with you? How can you begin to elevate someone? You always want to ask questions, and you want people that you work with to ask questions. I always tell my clients, ask me some questions. Ask me some questions. You need to know something. So you're just going to give me your money and you don't ask any questions? That's how this rolls? Then that, to me, that tells me that they have been doing a lot of that. They haven't been investing. Investors ask questions. You're not going to sit down in front of an investor and not get a roll of questions thrown at you. So we have to be comfortable with asking questions. Think of questions as money. The more questions you ask, the more money you'll make. Because you never know that there's other options for you outside of what's being given. You're not just going to allow a waitress to put a plate full of meat in front of you without asking questions and saying, well, has this been made with, like Robin? Anytime we go out to eat with Robin, she wants to know, is this food separated? Are you mixing the meats with her seafood? Because she has an allergic reaction. So we have to treat questions just like that. Ask questions all the time. How is this prepared? And it may seem anal, but I'm telling you, you'll get so much clarity because now it'll put you in the mode to listen before you speak. Listening before you speak. And that's the question. The question that you're not asking that can change your life is the question. Who has a question here that you can think about right now? At the end of this scope, you're going to either send an email, you're going to send a text, you're going to send, let's get some clarity. Are we dating or are we not? Are we in a relationship or we're not? Don't tell me it's complicated. Are we going to dinner or we're not? Let's keep it simple, right? Do you know how to do this or you don't? As the kids say, yeah or nah. So let's keep it very simple here. So, do we have any questions here on this Periscope? And don't sit in another conference, seminar, or workshop or training, and when they say, do you have any questions? Think of a question. What time do you wake up in the morning? What's your morning routine? I don't care. If I get a chance to sit in front of a millionaire or a billionaire, I'm going to have loads of questions. So when you start to get in the habit of asking questions, that's what makes reporters great and interviewers great, because they ask questions. What's your morning routine? What do you do when you get up? How do you, and it pulls the pieces of the puzzle together. How can we follow the clues of success if we're not willing to ask questions according to the clues? The clues are, how did this clue get here? How did she get to make this 6 figures in her business? How did she begin to brand herself like this? What company did she call? Who did she connect with? Who is her mentor? How did she, begin her speaking? So you just constantly are asking questions so that you can up level and grow in your own success? How do you respond when asked to do a speaking engagement for free when starting out? It all depends. When I started out, I spoke for free. I spoke for free, but I was in the mode and clear that I wanted to build my list. So I would say, okay, I'm coming to speak for free. Am I able to offer something to the audience? Am I able to get the emails and pass out cards so that I can get everyone's email? Because sometimes those free events pay on the back end greater than what they would sign a check for, right? Greater than what they would pay for your honorarium. You may make more than that just by building your list. So when I first started out, my main goal was to build my list. And then once I build my list, I can sell to them whatever I want because I had the stage. So now they're attracted to me. And if I really wanted to be funky, I would offer something from the stage to say, hey, who wants to be a part of this? Who wants to sign up for my program? Who's interested in this? So free can always turn into a fee if you're strategic. Do we have any more questions before I get off the scope? Can't find my water. Any more questions? Now we just talked about questions. Nobody has a question. I'm done. I'm done. Time management tip. Take care of there's a difference between priority and important. Take care of your priorities first. Everything that's important is not a priority. Take care of your priorities first. Your priorities are the things that, for me, my priorities in business are the things that are pulling in income. My income producing task. Those are the things that get done first. How do I book speaking engagements? Well, at this stage, people reach out to me for bookings, but I put myself out there by doing videos, my YouTubes. People found me like that, blogging consistently. I would go to do 2016 speaking engagements. So in the past, I would do 2013 speaker submissions, and I would submit to all of the places that I felt fit my genre, and I would get speaking engagements like that. How do you get sponsors and donations? Y'all are not playing right now. I just ask. I ask for sponsorships and donations. I put my 2-page proposal together. I tell them what's in it for them, what they can expect from it, and then I tell them exactly what I need. I need 100 in-kind gifts. I need 50 in-kind gifts. I need $3,000, which will go towards this, and this is what you will get in return. How do I stay motivated? My kids keep me motivated. The fact that I wake up and I'm doing what I love every day, that keeps me motivated. Are you writing another book? Yes, I just finished my book, not the Art of Activation. Activate Your Vision. Activating your vision, how to take your vision off the board and into your life. And so that'll be completely released. It's out now. You can purchase it now, but I want it to be out January. So we're doing like a big launch in January. I wanted to hit the shelves for 2016. What's the first book that I had written? It's called Corporate Mom Dropouts. Did you struggle with clarifying your vision when you started off? Absolutely, I did. I honed in on marketing. Marketing is my background. And so once I decided to become my own client, and that meant that I had to step on my own platform, I created a platform for myself because I was marketing for authors, coaches, and speakers. And so once I started to do that for myself, everything changed. What else? I'm going to have to let you go in a minute. Got to get the babies. Okay, I asked that. What keeps me motivated? Prayer, my kids. Becoming my own client. Yes. Once I started to become my own client, the world opened up to me. Seriously. Thank you, Leslie. Thank you. What time management tips do you have for moms? Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Do everything that you possibly can before the kids come home. Seriously, do everything that you possibly can before the kids come home. Because when they come home, I like to give them my attention. Like I'm going to pick them up now, so I give them my attention. And I'm going to bring them to the Boys and Girls Club so they can have some fun. But I try to do as much as I can before they come home, and I do a lot when they go to sleep. So that's how I kind of manage my life with kids. Do I struggle with fears? I would say my fear is that in terms, I'm trying to think because do I struggle with fears? That's a great question. Maybe the fear that I may die without accomplishing my legacy. Maybe that would be a fear if I was to think of a fear. But I eat fear for breakfast. I eat it for breakfast. I don't play with fear. I don't play with it at all. Now, some things may make me nervous, but fear, I don't, I use that fuel. So for example, so if when we get to every year during my conference, I'll start getting fears that, oh man, I stepped out of my comfort zone, and I make sure that I step out of my comfort zone so that I can feel the fear. But around conference time is the fear because I know I stepped out of my comfort zone, and it's like, Lucinda, you're in another state. You're doing 3 days in another state. Are you serious? Or Lucinda, you're doing a big event in a mansion during a weekday. How's this? How you going to do this? How you going to make this happen? But fears, I eat it. I eat fears like I eat rocks for breakfast. No, but I don't play with fear. I really don't. Any other question? What advice do you have for those who are doing it all? Planning an event, writing a book, don't do it all. That's the advice. Do one thing at a time so you're not giving, and excuse my expression, doing half-ass work. You cannot do half-ass work. Don't give your book 50% of yourself, your event 30% of yourself, your family 20% of yourself. You cannot, when you try to do it all, then everything is just half-assed and nothing is fully done. You got to be a great starter and a great finisher. And in order to be a great starter and a great finisher, you focus on putting your all into one thing, and you'll realize that it leads to the next. I feel that too much passion is my obstacle in my breakthrough. Did you struggle with this? Yes. So you can be passionately poor, or you can be passionately profitable. The difference is the passionately poor are so passionate that they don't realize the value and the worth that they bring to the table. So therefore, their passion is pulling on their heartstrings, and they never really build anything inside of the bank. And so when you're passionately profitable, you're able to serve from a full plate without depleting from who you are. Your sacrifices are different. Passionately poor people, they're so emotionally involved. God forbid you tell them anything about their system or process. They take it personal, and it leaves you in a poor state. So if you're extremely passionate about what you do, gift yourself permission to be profitable in it and understanding the value and the worth in it. Therefore, it may mean that you skim off the top so that you are serving bite-sized pieces instead of giving someone a whole feast, and they're not ready for that. People want it bit by bit, piece by piece. I'll take 2 more questions and then I'm out of here. Can't leave my little babies waiting. Yes, gift yourself permission. You have a question. How did you overcome coaching? I don't understand. How did you overcome coaching? How did you get clear about your brand? Really, my brand was getting clear about my brand was getting clear about myself. It wasn't something that I wanted to create, creating a brand. What is that? That's like creating a human. It's not possible. You are who you are. And it's just, how do you express that openly? And so for me to express who I am openly, this fun, authentic, loving person, someone who, how do I tap into the 5 senses and allow other people to experience who I am, means that, I love the color red. Show that. I love nice things. Show that. I love vacations. Show that. Believe telling your story is a part of who I am. Show that. So my brand, I was a huge procrastinator. So activate is something near and dear to my heart. Show that. And so for me, being clear about my brand was more about me being clear about who I was and how I wanted to be seen in life. So who you see here is the same person that's picking her kids up, the same person that's mentoring in the Boys and Girls Club. It's the same person. So being clear about myself helped me to be clear on my brand. And I think I missed someone's question here. Yes, you love my name. Yes, it means light. Lucinda means light. Thank you. Do you believe passion moves you into action? I think you need more than passion to move you into action. Yeah, me personally, if I'm passionate about something, it may not move me into action. If I desire something, it may move me into action a little bit more. But I need to be provoked, really, in order to move into action. You have to provoke me. So if I'm passionate about it, that's nice. You know, you could be passionate about starting a family, but you don't necessarily start it. It's just saying someday, one day, if it happens, if it doesn't. But when you're provoked to do it, you're like, oh no, I'm going at this thing. I am going at this thing. I'm running in hot pursuit towards it until it's done. So I'm not sure if passion leads to action. Not for me, I would say, because I'm a different type of, I'm a fast thinker, on her toes. You know, if I think it, I want it now. You know, if I see it, I want it. You know, so for me, passion doesn't really move me because I'm passionate about a lot of stuff. But I need to be provoked in order. It has to be like, whoa, that could really morph into something big. Then I'm going to hop on it. If I don't see the greatness in it, I really don't even pay attention to it. Yeah. Yeah. You want a Periscope later on? You guys going to be around 4:30? Because what I'll do is, because I'm dropping everybody off, how do you defeat procrastination? Oh, I have a story for that. And I have a story about defeating procrastination. If you're procrastinating, then you really, really don't want it. And I had to get that through my thick skull, because I would procrastinate to the point that it hindered me financially. I procrastinated to the point that I would blame everybody for my non-action, my non-movement. And so what I would say is that when you really want something, you're not going to procrastinate on it. And I was a huge procrastinator and a huge perfectionist, but that means you're not hungry enough. When you're hungry enough, you won't procrastinate. When you want this thing bad enough, you're not going to procrastinate. Procrastination is like, you're not even trying to hear it. Like, wait, you want me to, I'm holding myself up. And when I realized that I was holding myself up and I was hungry, not only in just saying it, but seriously hungry, that's when I had to make some changes and say, Lucinda, you got to stop stopping yourself. What are you afraid of? And I was afraid of rejection at that time. I was afraid of not being accepted. I was afraid of putting it out there and somebody else doing it better than me. I was afraid of that. But when I realized that if I go into full action, there's no way you're going to outwork me. There's no way you're going to outdo me in me. How can somebody outdo me in me? That's not possible in this lifetime. There's nobody who can outdo you. Nobody can outdo you. Nobody can validate you. Nobody could, you get confirmations here and there, but nobody can outperfect what is already perfect, which is you. God has created you as a masterpiece. He didn't say that he made you as a half piece. He made you as a masterpiece. So that means everything that's in you and out of you is great. And so there's no way that I can outdo me. There's no way nobody, and I'm talking ghetto now, so I'm not grammatically correct, but there's nobody out there, no way, nowhere that's going to outdo who Lucinda is for Lucinda. I can only do the best for me. I can only soar the best for me. I can only become the greatest of me. I can only become the worst of me. And a great leader told me that. They said, Lucinda, the thing with you is you can be the best of the best or the worst of the worst. And that decision is up to you. And those words carried me. I heard that when I was about 16 years old. They said, Lucinda, here's the thing with you. You can either become the best of the best or the worst of the worst. And it didn't make sense until I started to, when I get into something, if I get into something bad, I'm going to be bad at it. When I get into something good, I'm going to be the greatest at it. For me. So there's no half with me. And there's no half with you. You can be the best of the best, or you can be the worst of the worst. You choose. Understand that when you go down, you're going to go down. And when you start rising, oh, you are going to rise, baby. You are going to fly. Yes. So for me, it's just getting over myself stopped me from procrastinating. All right. I got to go. Can't leave the babies waiting. I'll see you back around 4:30, okay? Because this is a good scope. I think this is good. I need you to tweet and invite some people when we come back, okay? Let's save somebody. I think we saved about 20 people on here today. We have more than that on here. Y'all are chiming in like crazy. All right, bye.